Right, guys, we've had the QR code drop during Smackdown, and I know that not everyone is able to watch Smackdown at the same time. It does suck, but it has dropped. It's all over social media. So when you actually scan the QR codes, it takes you to Exordium number 2. I believe Exordium is a URL that we've had before, and it takes you to this. It takes you to this countdown clock. Obviously, we've seen this countdown clock before. I believe we saw it on Monday for the first time. So the URL is Exordium number 2. And as we said, I believe that translated as like inevitable, the beginning, introduction. So it's counting down. And here you can see the reckoning is inevitable. You refuse salvation. We know that the massacre is on the way. When this counts down to 0, it's going to be Raw, and it's going to be the 17th, and everything has been pointing towards Raw and towards the 17th. So if we click at the top, we get the Kintsugi journal. It no longer says new next to consequences, and that's because it's not new. We do have something else that's new, and that of course is the recycling bin. So if you click on the recycling bin, you then get this. You can click here for a hint, which comes up you're welcome. So you put in thank you, and then that unlocks everything. I did try clicking on these at the top. It doesn't do anything, but if you submit that, it opens up these files. I have looked at the tags for the files. There's nothing in there. I've looked in the source code. There's nothing in there, but we do have these 5 pictures, and these are really interesting. To my knowledge, at the time of recording this, I'm not aware of anything else that's hidden. Right? Nothing in the source code, nothing in the picture tags. The names of these files are just the letters and then a row of numbers afterwards. So if we go through each of these pictures, there's 6 pictures. Each one is, we believe, the first letter of someone. So U is Uncle Howdy, E is Erick Rowan, D is Dexter Lumis, N is Nikki Cross, J is Joe Gacy. They're the only 5 that are expected to arrive on Monday. So the last one is called 5, right? We do think Alexa will join eventually, but we're not expecting her on Monday. So that's why we think they're called what they're called, right? So if we have a look at you, this is Uncle Howdy, and you can see this is all imagery that we've seen before. This is all stuff that's featured from the therapist sessions and note writing, stuff like that. So we've seen a lot of this. This is you for Uncle Howdy. You can see the therapist's notepad there. Not aware of anything here, any clues or anything that we've not seen before. That WhatsApp thing at the top, we obviously had seen that before, and we went to WhatsApp. So that's you. This one is J for Joe Gacy. And this is really interesting because this really feels like we're seeing drawings of these people. This Joe Gacy one, I mean, why is the eye kind of coloured in? Like the one eye. Why is there all that red and what looks to be like blood, maybe? So I don't know what we're kind of getting from this, but that's the one for Joe Gacy. But it looks, yeah, the coloured in eye being black, I think, is quite interesting. The face looks human. And that might sound a weird thing to say, but you'll see why I've said that in a second, because not all of these faces look human. But that one looks human to me, but the coloured in eye, I think, is interesting. If we go to N for Nikki, this is big, because here you can see a veil over her face, which obviously lends the thought or leads to the thought of the bride, who has a veil over her face. So is this not confirming, but is it sort of indicating that the bride could be Nikki? Because, you know, it could just be hair, but I saw that and immediately it made me think of a veil. And obviously veils are featured quite a bit. Don't know what the White Rabbit reference is. Not sure what that means. Don't know why we're referencing White Rabbit, or even what the red arrow is pointing to. Don't know what that's pointing to. I mean, there doesn't appear to be anything that it's actually pointing at. So I don't know quite what that is. Why that's there. That's also quite interesting. But the veil over that I thought was very interesting. So that was Nikki. We've then got this. This is D for Dexter. So we've seen this one at the bottom. We've seen this one at the side. I believe this one is Dexter. And this one looks a little bit owl-like. Obviously, we know Court of Owls from Batman. And that was something, imagery that featured during White Rabbit. So this is quite interesting. It does feel like a bit of a beak. Definitely this one feels a little bit more maybe like that creature we saw in the Static. I'm very interested in this one. I do get strong owl vibes from that one. That one doesn't feel as human, but that's D for Dexter. And this one is E for Erick Rowan. And again, look at that. That one's not human. I mean, that one feels a bit like a wolf, doesn't it? You'd imagine it to be sheep for Erick Rowan, but this one feels like a wolf. Sharp teeth and everything. Do you want to meet them? We've seen a lot of this imagery all before. So we've got that. And then I think 5. This is all of them here, look. Still can't see what that arrow is pointing at. You can see like part of like someone over here. Therapist. I've seen all of this before. That you will behold what we have become. 17th of June. So look at that. Look at that. I think this is something very exciting, actually. When I first saw this, I wasn't sure that there was going to be much to it. And then when you actually get into these pictures, there's a lot more to it than what you first think. So, yeah, I like this. I'm very excited. We'll have to see kind of what it leads to. But obviously, we're expecting more tomorrow for Clash. Nothing here that I can see that kind of hints towards tomorrow. But we are expecting something tomorrow at Clash. But, yeah, some very interesting imagery from tonight's QR codes.